Bevor das eigentliche Video startet, möchte ich noch eine Warnung rausgeben. Das Spiel hat eine Altersempfehlung von 17 Jahren und wer jünger ist und sich das anguckt, auf eigene Gefahr. Moin Leute, herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Folge von The Testament of Sherlock Holmes. Das ist das eine von den zwei Projekten, das ich angekündigt habe. Ich kenne das Spiel nicht. Ich habe es noch nie gespielt, sagen wir mal so. Die Bewertungen sind gut. Aber sonst, ich habe mir noch nichts angeschaut, das heißt, ich kenne das Spiel null. Und bin jetzt mal gespannt, wie es wird. Ja, New Game. Okay. Ich hoffe, es läuft doch alles flüssig. Ja.
What's this? No. Baba. Boop, boop. La la la. Ooh. Oh, look! It's a book! Maybe it's a book about pirates with a treasure map. No, I don't think so. I wish that I had seen through all your lies. Oh, start from the beginning, not the middle. And so I decided to pick up my pen to relate the most disturbing episode of my life thus far.
It all began early one morning in 1898, when Sherlock Holmes invited me to accompany him on a visit to the Marquis of Conyngham.
Okay, so jetzt können wir hier irgendwas machen. Hallo?
Watson, my dear fellow, we can now go and inform the Marquis that we have found the Samoan necklace, and very much faster than Inspector Baines, too, which pleases me.
Have you really solved the theft, Holmes? And so quickly?
I have indeed, Watson, and believe me, it was completely unnecessary to spread out all over London, as our friend Baines thought was best. He likes to boast that his methods are equal to mine, but once again the outcome has contradicted him.
After all these years of accompanying you upon your investigations, I thought that by now I should be reasonably capable of following your train of thought. But in this particular case, I must admit that I don't understand anything at all.
Ah, you see, but you do not observe, Watson. There lies the difference. It is a matter of course.
A matter of course? In the middle of the night, when everyone is fast asleep, the service bell within that room rings out and alerts the servants. They dress quickly and come running, but the door is locked and there is a strong smell of burning from within. A few seconds later, the master of the house himself, the robbed Marchioness's husband, the Marquis of Conyngham, arrives and unlocks the door using the sole key. A fire has started inside the room, but they have managed to arrive in time to put it out. It is at that moment that the Marquis realizes that the famous Samoan necklace, which had been safe within its glass cabinet only a few hours earlier, has now disappeared.
In order to explain, let us confirm my theory before the arrival of Inspector Baines.
Okay. Ja, vielleicht hätte ich auch sagen sollen, dass dass das Spiel nicht das Neueste ist. Also es ist zwar das Neueste von den Spielen, die ich mir von Sherlock Holmes gekauft habe, aber es ist immer noch eine Version von 2014. Und dafür muss ich sagen, ist die Grafik gar nicht mal so schlecht. Auch wenn die Synchronisation der Stimmen mit den Lippen und das Ganze nicht so wirklich gut ist. Aber hey, ist irgendwie gar nicht mehr so schlecht. Was? Look at the pro. Achso, halt, das ist das Aquarium. Ups.
This window was cut with a diamond. A clean, discreet piece of work. This is where the necklace was.
See how tiny the hole is, and not one fingerprint upon the window.
This window was cut with a diamond. A clean, discreet piece of work. This is where the necklace was.
See how tiny the hole is, and not one fingerprint upon the window.
Ah, okay. Na, bin ich mal gespannt. Ach, noch?
This window was cut with a diamond. A clean, discreet piece of work. This is where the necklace was.
See how tiny the hole is, and not one fingerprint upon the window.
Das habe ich doch gemacht. Ist er ja nicht zu blöd?
This window was...
See how...
Ja, okay, so kann man auch überspringen, aber... Ach so, halt, ups. Lesen sollten wir mal können. Ah, okay. So kann ich wählen. Wählen wir erstmal das jetzt.
A mark undoubtedly made by a diamond. Someone tried to cut the glass, but he was interrupted.
Therefore, the thief tried to escape through the window, but he was interrupted.
All the windows are locked. They've not been forced.
Okay, jemand wollte einbrechen, hat es nicht geschafft. Obwohl die Dinger gar nicht mal irgendwie... Oh, man sieht was. Obwohl man nicht... Obwohl die Fenster nicht irgendwie verschlossen sind, ne? Komisch. Kann die Meldung mal weggehen, danke. So. Go to the... Ah, okay. Aha. Was willst du nehmen? Okay. Ah, so kann man... Okay. Was da... Okay. Ah, hier kann man die ganzen Dialoge sehen. Okay. Das sind Tagebuchaufschriebe. Das sind wahrscheinlich Missionen. Okay, nicht auswählbar. Und das sind wahrscheinlich die Orden, wenn man es geschafft hat. Und das sind wahrscheinlich die Szenen. Okay, gut. Dann nehmen wir erstmal das hier. Und rüsten uns damit aus. Aha. Ich hoffe, dass man nicht die ganze Zeit... Ups. Hä? Ach, mit E geht's auch. Okay. Dass man nicht die ganze Zeit solche Tipps bekommt.
Let us examine the crumpled scores that have fallen off the piano.
Hä? Warte, ich bin zu blöd. Nochmal.
Let us examine the crumpled scores that have fallen off the piano.
Soll ich das jetzt aufheben? Ach so. Ah. Okay, so funktioniert das.
Nothing of interest here.
Ja, und dann, wenn man denkt, man hätte irgendwas.
Nothing of interest here.
Kann man einfach klicken, okay. Da.
These sooty prints were left by a tiny hand.
I don't understand why these music scores are covered with soot.
Press here. Ah, yo, man kann sie auch... Auch wenn die Grafik nicht so geil ist, ist das Spiel sehr wohl cool. Hä? Ah, wann? Okay. Das ist... Ah, man kann den Typen auch irgendwo hinlotsen. Cool. Was habe ich jetzt gemacht? Okay. Nein? Ah, mit dem Mausrad kann ich das auswählen. Wie cool ist das denn? Warte. Junge, habe ich doch eine Lupe vergessen. Oder? Ja, eben. Ah, E ist das, okay. Wo ist die Lupe? Man kann ja echt alles untersuchen. Okay, die Lupe ist weg. Oh, das ist. Nein.
A candle. It must have fallen from the chandelier.
Schon wieder zu blöd gewesen und so. Aha. Oh.
Not very well kept, this aquarium. I can see a dead fish floating on the surface.
Ja, ich suche hier halt alles ab.
This draft screen makes an ideal hiding place.
As the theft was committed at night, I conclude that the thief hid himself behind the draft screen and waited until he was alone in the room.
Ja, das macht Sinn. Der Typ bricht ein, versteckt sich dahinter und wartet, bis der andere Typ allein ist.
These documents are not very interesting, even though they're addressed to the Minister of Maritime Affairs.
The Marquis himself.
Aber warum ist die ganze Zeit schon wieder?
Strange. There are some objects here that have been knocked over.
Ja, danke, das wollte ich auch gerade sagen. Okay.
Footprints. You are not going to get on your knees to examine them.
There is no need. It is soot. The servants must have trodden in it while they were putting out the fire. Heading towards his chosen escape route, probably the window, the thief knocked over the stool, which then caught fire.
But why didn't he try to put the fire out at once?
Vielleicht kam jemand und er hatte keine Chance mehr.
The chest wasn't opened. The necklace wasn't in it.
Dieser Necklace ist wahrscheinlich das, was da gestohlen wurde. Und davon musste einer wahrscheinlich sterben. Nicht so schön.
The fire started here, just beneath the bell pull.
Whoever pulled the cord would have had his feet in the fire, unless it was pulled before the fire started.
Was?
The fire started here, just beneath the bell pull.
Whoever pulled the cord would have had his feet in the fire, unless it was pulled before the fire started.
Ja.
What do you think, Holmes?
Let us search the room before the police get here. We might throw some light onto all this.
Cool, man kann sich noch umgucken, wenn die zwei miteinander reden.
What do you think, Holmes?
Let us search the room before the police get here. We might throw some light onto all this.
Okay. Nein, nicht schon wieder.
When the servants arrived at the door, having been alerted by the bell, they saw evidence of the theft and the fire, but they didn't see the thief.
This door is very hard to force. The Marquis is the only person to have the key. The thief could not get out through here until eventually, when the door was opened by the servants. Strange. There aren't any prints. Yet I'm sure that the thief hid here.
Oh.
Ah, Mr. Holmes. You're already here.
Good morning, Inspector. You've arrived just in time.
Scotland Yard arrives like the cavalry, always in the nick of time. Ah, but I know that satisfied expression, Mr. Holmes. Have you already solved the case?
It's possible.
We have retraced the thief's rather unusual footsteps. He is a true acrobat. But what I cannot understand is that when the servants entered the room, there was no one to be seen. An acrobat, perhaps, but an invisible one? I do not think so.
The only explanation is that the thief escaped before the servants arrived. I don't know how, but there is no other way.
Half a point for the doctor, nil for the inspector.
I am pleased to see that you find the situation amusing, Mr. Holmes. Very well then, explain.
Dr. Watson was correct when he mentioned acrobatics, but he is mistaken about the nature of the acrobat. As for you, Baines, you're quite incorrect, as the thief was in the room when the servants entered.
Explain, for heaven's sake, Mr. Holmes.
Watson, how could a thief be missed in the middle of 8 men?
I don't know. Because he is very small? Stop teasing us, Holmes.
Exactly, because he is small and remarkably agile.
You're thinking of a monkey?
And a trained monkey at that, without a doubt, a Leontopithecus rosalia from Central America. The animal had been hidden inside the room for several hours, calmly awaiting the signal from his master. Once night had fallen and the room was empty, a high-frequency whistle alerted the monkey that it was time to begin the procedure for which he had been trained. The monkey emerged from his hiding place and used the point of a diamond to open the glass cabinet and steal the necklace. He headed across to the window by the chimney, but knocked over the stool, which in turn knocked aside the fire guard and started the fire. The frightened monkey jumped from the chimney by swinging from the bell pull, thus alerting the house servants. He then went to the window and began to use his diamond to cut a hole, but was interrupted by the staff trying to gain entry via the door, and he panicked again. He ran across the piano, scattering the music scores onto the floor, before hiding inside the chandelier, knocking over a candle. Finally, the servants and the Marquis entered the room, leaving the door open while they put out the fire. It was during the confusion that our agile little thief made his escape through the doorway. As simple as that.
A brilliant explanation. Bravo, Holmes.
And the necklace?
I can see it from here, my friends. It's right in front of us.
We have searched the room from top to bottom, Holmes. How were we unable to find it?
Because we paid insufficient attention to the only victim of this affair.
What victim? No one is dead?
Yes, Watson, a poor goldfish whose destiny was to die, crushed by one of the most precious necklaces in England.
The aquarium is just beneath the chandelier. I understand.
The little monkey had likely hung the necklace around its neck and lost it when he leapt from the chandelier. The jewels fell into the aquarium, where they remain now. Marquis, here is your necklace, intact, just a little wet.
Mr. Holmes, this brilliant demonstration does credit to your reputation.
Thank you so much, Marquis. Do you wish to verify the authenticity of your jewel?
No, I recognize it. I have spent many hours admiring it, you know.
Good. I will return it to its box and...
Inspector, a bank has just been held up. You must follow me at once. Orders of Scotland Yard.
What times?
Sirs, Duty calls. My regards, Marquis. And well done again, Mr. Holmes.
There, the necklace is in its box. We've lost enough time here. Let's go home, Watson.
Ah, very well, as you wish. A good day to you, Marquis.
With pleasure, gentlemen. And once again, thank you.
Ha! Cool. An den Affen habe ich nicht gedacht. Aber das ergibt alles Sinn.
This morning's newspaper. Holmes, have you read this article about you?
No, Watson, not yet, and I won't have time to.
Read it before you leave. It's outrageous.
If you insist.
Was?
Read the paper, Holmes.
Okay. Ah, cool, das ist so eine richtige Sammlung. Heißt wahrscheinlich das Test... Oh, und ich habe hier die erste Errungenschaft. Hey. This menu is not available. Ja, kannst mich mal.
Prince Woodville, French culinary expert and bagpipe player, might be our next king. That's not so shocking, my dear fellow.
You know exactly to which article I'm referring, Holmes. How can Farley dare to tarnish your reputation like that?
You know, Watson, that wherever glory walks, jealousy is bound to follow. As for the forgery of the necklace, I suspect that we shall soon be enlightened in this regard. Come in, Inspector Baines, the door's open.
Ah, Mr. Holmes. How did you know I was here?
You are one of our rare visitors who avoids the second-to-last step of the stairs, which creaks dreadfully. And if I add the clinking of the handcuffs at your belt, to what do we owe the pleasure of your visit, Inspector?
Have you read that, Rag?
Okay, der Typ spricht auch ohne Punkt und Komma. Aber was ich immer noch nicht verstanden habe, was ich eigentlich sagen wollte, warum war der eine Fisch tot? Hat er sich an der Pelle verschluckt? Oder ist es einfach nur so ein typisches Filmklischee? Was?
Inspector, can you explain this slander? Has the necklace of the Samoas really been replaced by a fake?
I don't know how the reporter got hold of the information, but it's true. About the necklace, of course. I wouldn't permit myself to question the integrity and honesty of Mr. Holmes.
The necklace is a forgery? Impossible! I saw the Marquis authenticated before my very eyes, before Holmes returned it to its place.
Mr. Holmes, the Marquis believes Osmond Farley's theory. I shouldn't be surprised if the reporter isn't behind all this slander about you. He's a freelancer, well known for his explosive and subjective articles. In any case, the Marquis assures us that you were the last person to have the necklace in your hands.
Let's return to the Marquis's house, Holmes. I'm sure that we'll have no trouble in taking apart this theory.
It is unnecessary. Such allegations collapse on their own, like one of Mrs. Hudson's soufflés. Let us leave the police to solve this problem and turn our attention to the matters in hand.
Perhaps you are right, Holmes.
Ach so, jetzt verstehe ich. Also erstmal finde ich die Musik cool, die spiele ich schon mit. Aber I understand. Es ist so also. Dieser Typ hat, also der Zeitungstypi hat, ja, sagen wir mal, Geheiminformationen und hat uns versucht runterzuziehen und hat gesagt, dass wir irgendwas gefälscht haben und versteckt haben. Vielleicht kam es in dem Teil, das ich gelesen habe, nicht gecheckt habe.
Inspector, I assume that you have the fake necklace with you. It's why you're here. Your superiors would like me to examine it.
Indeed. They would like you to confirm or deny putting this fake in the box.
Can't that wait? I must go to the house of Lord Peregrine Maitland, the Bishop of Knightsbridge. And the Marchioness?
She is beside herself. Without the necklace, her marriage is compromised. It is the principal item of the young woman's dowry.
What a lovely marriage.
Ja, man hat die schon durch. Okay.
Holmes, forgive me for insisting, but don't you want to examine the fake jewellery?
Watson, I have an appointment, and it's out of the question that I arrive late.
It will only take you a couple of minutes. You really must quell the suspicions put forward in this appalling article. if you will allow me, Inspector.
Be my guest.
Very well.
Also ich finde das Spiel an sich schon super cool. So ein cooles Gameplay habe ich mir einerseits gar nicht erwartet, aber allerdings erhofft. Also es erfüllt alle meine Hoffnungen sozusagen. Nur halt, dass es nur auf Englisch ist, ja, das habe ich befürchtet. Ist der einzige Punkt, ich bin halt grottig in Englisch. Naja, kann ich mit dir labern? Nö. Oh, Alter! Wie hat der einen angeguckt? Du bist Sherlock Holmes? You're the chosen one? Wirklich, glaube ich? Nein? Ich muss mich echt dran gewöhnen, dass Linksklick auswählen ist.
What should we do next, Holmes?
Gehen. Tschüdelidü. Als ob. Cool. Ah, ich kann auch so. Okay. Cool. Okay. Cool. Ich kann gehen. Tschüdelidü.
What do you think, Holmes?
Was soll ich denn jetzt machen? Ich hab's nicht kapiert. Kann ich irgendwas machen? Warte, kann ich irgendwas machen? Nee. Ich muss mir nochmal das Gespräch anhören. Also heißt es, wir sollen mir folgen. Ich will erstmal die Schreibmaschine. Es heißt ja The Testament of Sherlock Holmes. Also gehe ich davon A aus, dass es kein nächstes Spiel gibt. Obwohl das Spiel schon cool ist. Und B, dass er stirbt. Also habe ich jetzt nur die Auswahl zu gehen. Okay, bye bye.
I cannot leave now.
Was? Hä? Die bewegen sich sogar ein bisschen. Ja. Also auch nicht zu viel. Alter, wie sieht die Kutsche aus? Cool, der Kutsche ist mal hinten. Man soll auch nicht zu viel von 2014er Spielen erwarten. Aber ich find's cool. An dieser Stelle muss ich sagen, wenn ihr es auch cool findet, lasst mal ein Like da. Warum ist da einfach ein Gewehr? What the fuck? Ich kann nichts machen, oder? Doch. Ich kann hier irgendwas machen. Okay, jetzt muss ich herausfinden, was ich machen kann. Zeitung? Essen? Ah, da ist was. Achso, er hätte das mitgebracht. Hey, ich Depp. Ah, man kann es auch... Oh, warte mal.
This pearl is a different color.
Ja. Und die auch.
These 3 pearls are of poor quality.
Warum
This
ist er
pearl is
klein?
too small. It is not in its place here. Too many defects. This necklace is a fake. This is nothing but a vulgar copy, and at a glance it would appear that the forger has intended for it to be seen as such.
How could we have been fooled by such a blatant imitation? I don't understand.
Yes, how is it possible? Holmes, do you have a theory about this?
Was ist denn
I have
Schiss in der
absolutely
Wand?
no idea. You insisted that I examine the necklace, and I have done so. Now it is important that I keep my appointment. I'm sure, Inspector, that you will throw some light on this affair.
Holmes.
You may accompany me, Watson, if you care to do so.
Goodbye, gentlemen. I'll keep you informed as to my inquiries.
Goodbye, Inspector. You mentioned a bishop, didn't you? Are we going to his home?
Yes, the Bishop of Knightsbridge. I put his address on our map of London on my desk. Would you get it for me, please?
All right, Holmes.
Ah, okay. Jetzt kontrolliere ich Mr. Watson.
Have you found my map of London?
Ach so. Ich soll, ja, ich suche. Das ist auch cool, dass man so...
Have you found my map of London?
I have found your map.
Ja. Dass man einfach so richtig... ja, auch Gehilfesachen man kann. Also nicht nur Detektiv, sondern auch Roleplay dabei ist. Ja, was ist damit? Und dass die Grafik jetzt auch nicht 4K ist.
The police?
Um ehrlich zu sein.
Already? How did you know?
May we see the Bishop of Knightsbridge?
Yes. Yes, of course. But come in.
Sieht denn aus?
What has happened, Reverend?
What?
I don't know. It was last night, I think. I only just arrived, and I have made this macabre discovery. My God. How horrible. I haven't called anyone. How did you know that?
Holmes, look!
The Bishop, appallingly mutilated.
How dreadful.
Mutilated. And killed. He was such a good man. How could anyone be so brutal? Look at him. He is barely recognizable now. How could any of God's children be responsible for that?
They were evidently unworthy children, Reverend. Now do please try to calm yourself and focus, because we will need your assistance. Do you have any idea as to the motive behind this?
I haven't had time to do an inventory, but nothing appears to have been stolen. And anyway, His Excellency didn't own anything of great value. I don't know what else I can tell you.
Note this down, please, Doctor.
Doctor? But you aren't the police?
No, Reverend. I am Sherlock Holmes, and this is Dr. Watson. We are here at the request of the Bishop.
In that case, I must ask you to leave, and not to touch anything. I must get in touch with the authorities without further delay.
Reverend, when the inspectors of Scotland Yard find themselves at a dead end, which they quite often do, I assure you, then they turn to me for help. If you will allow us to continue our investigation, then you shall have the answers to all of your questions.
Out of the question! I don't even know you! I'm going to call the police, whether you like it or not.
It would be better for everyone, Reverend, if you kept your temper. Watson, are you taking notes? This affair promises to be a complex one, therefore we must not overlook the slightest detail.
Yes, Holmes. I am keeping a meticulous set of notes. I have created a very clever deduction board. One thing we can be sure of at the moment is that this crime was not for gain. The Reverend has informed us that nothing valuable was stolen, and indeed it would seem that the Bishop had nothing of any worth to take.
Very good, Watson. Do continue.
The Bishop didn't want... Oh, was? Didn't own anything of value, not even in his safe. Ja? Ach so. Okay. Ah, okay. Oh! You control Sherlock Holmes. Lecker. Geht auch noch was anderes?
You have no right to search here.
Doch. Ist ja nicht erklärt, ne?
Closed. The veranda door hasn't been forced. Strange. Reverend, might I have the key?
No! You have no authority here. Let me call the police.
Perhaps we should listen to him, Holmes.
Perhaps you should let me get on with this, Watson. Closed.
Okay, was ist dazu gekommen? Ach so, das kommt dann immer... Okay, gut. Oh. Ein blutiges Messer.
What should we do next, Holmes?
Warte mal, ich habe das für eine schöne Idee. Kann man nicht irgendwie... Schade. Was ist das denn? Ich weiß nicht mal, was das bringt. Ich hätte. Aufpassen.
This door has not been forced. Where does it lead, Reverend?
To His Excellency's room. There is just a mattress and a stool.
Okay, wir können hier einiges inspizieren, aber ich würde sagen, bevor wir das machen, beenden wir das Video. Wenn es euch gefällt, lasst ein Like da. Also ich finde es ultra cool. Werd vielleicht noch ein paar Folgen bringen. Dementsprechend, wie es euch halt gefällt. Und ja, dann bis zum nächsten Mal. Ciao, ciao!